They fled north for safety, only to be trapped in the desert between two nations and one campaign promise. Peru declares a border emergency. Chile's Frontrunner warns migrants to leave with what you have on, and families are caught in limbo. When politics weaponize fear, who protects the people? Peru has declared a state of emergency along its southern border with Chile after hundreds of migrants, most of them Venezuelans, attempted to flee north following threats from Chile's presidential frontrunner. Peruvian President José Jerí announced the measure on November 28th, deploying additional military and police forces to the Tacna region as crowds gathered at the border crossing near Arica. The move comes after far-right candidate José Antonio Kast, who leads polls ahead of Chile's December 14th runoff, warned undocumented migrants they have until his inauguration to leave voluntarily or face detention and deportation. At least 100 people, predominantly Venezuelan nationals, were stranded in limbo at the border after Peru refused entry whilst Chilean authorities prevented their return. Peruvian media broadcast images of families clutching belongings in bin bags and backpacks caught between two countries as the political rhetoric escalated into a humanitarian flashpoint. Kast filmed a campaign video at the desert border with Peru, directly addressing irregular migrants in Chile.
¿Y a los inmigrantes irregulares en Chile?
To irregular migrants in Chile, I say that you have 103 days to leave our country voluntarily. If at any point you want to enter Chile through the front door, you cannot have any irregularities in our nation. If you do not leave voluntarily, you will have to leave after I assume the presidency, and you'll leave with what you have on.
The ultra-conservative lawyer has built his campaign around immigration concerns and organized crime, capitalizing on growing anti-immigrant sentiment in Chile. His opponent in the runoff is leftist candidate Jeanette Jara, competing to replace current President Gabriel Boric. Peruvian Foreign Minister Hugo de Zella dismissed Kast's warnings, stating that a presidential candidate cannot speak for the Chilean government. He confirmed an extraordinary cabinet session would approve emergency measures to block irregular migration, saying Peru lacks the capacity to receive more migrants.
The government's policy is that we will not allow irregular migration. On this, there is a clear and firm position from the government. We do not have the conditions or the capacity to receive more migrants.
Chile has long served as a destination for Venezuelans escaping economic collapse and authoritarian rule. Hundreds of thousands crossed through Peru into Chile, seeking stability in one of Latin America's most prosperous nations. Now that flow has reversed as Kast's rhetoric intensifies xenophobic attitudes across Chilean society. Chilean Security Minister Luis Cordero acknowledged the impact of campaign language on migration patterns.
Rhetoric sometimes has consequences. People cannot be used as a means to create controversy for the elections.
Cordero stressed preventing a humanitarian crisis remains the priority as foreign ministries from both nations maintain active dialogue on the situation. The border standoff has left migrants trapped between political messaging and policy reality. Peruvian police established positions at the frontier, whilst Chilean carabineros managed crowds on their side, with many eventually returning to Arica after being unable to cross. Chile is home to 18.5 million people, and the exact number of those now attempting to leave remains unclear. The crisis highlights how electoral politics can rapidly transform migration patterns and create humanitarian emergencies across international borders.